And if you get it all slimy, it's gonna wanna slide. So sticky, tacky, and dry. You're gonna take your ball of clay with some oomph, like you're gonna be the boss of it, and pop it as close to center as possible. Like that. We don't need to pancake it though, we don't want it flat. If it's slightly off to the side like that, you can kind of just squish it, and it'll spin counterclockwise, and you can squish it in the middle just to set you up a little bit easier. Okay? All right, good. Here we go. From there, then water, sliding and gliding. You cannot use enough water. In fact, in the beginning, especially that first ball, I'm gonna try and bounce between you, being the water to help you out. Okay? Now for goes like driving a car, just like that. If you drop a sponge in there or a bat goes flying, we're gonna turn it off. Your brake is the back side of the pedal there. Okay, especially if something goes flying, turn it off. Yes. If you drop something, turn it off, take your foot off, and then reach in there. All right, here's the fun stuff. So once it's on there sliding and gliding, if it gets sticky, tacky, hot, you need more water. As a beginner, you can't use enough water. Okay? A lot of times your hand's gonna be resting on the bat. It doesn't hurt as long as you have water. Hi gang, how you going? Come on in. All right, so what we're gonna do, you see how it's moving my wrist? Yeah. This wrist needs to be as smooth as possible. That tells me it's centered, okay? When you first go into cone up, we're gonna cone up and make a mountain. We're putting our hands on either side. They don't have to be a tent, they don't have to be locked, but we're just kind of like this, creating a tunnel. And we're gonna squeeze, there's nowhere for the clay to go but up. But when you first go in, don't let it start moving you. You go in strong, you grab the clay, and you start to come up. You've created a tunnel. We're making a mountain. You're always gonna lose clay, that's part of it. In the beginning, you don't know how much to squeeze, so it might not be that tall. You don't wanna just rip it off, but it's more squeeze down here because there's more clay, and as you start to come up, a little less squeeze, a little less squeeze, a little less squeeze, so you're not pulling off clumps of clay, right? So if in the beginning you coned up and you only got a little high, about that high, we'll go ahead and come in. These fingers back here can grab that clay back there, and we start to cone up here, making a mountain, like that, okay? Height doesn't matter. If you've been watching the social media videos, they bring it up, they bring it down. It's just fun. But you want a little bit of height, and then we're gonna do the basic centering where we support side, push from the top, and we're gonna cone down. We're gonna push the mountain down. When we go to push the mountain down, you can't just push from the top because it actually gets worse, right? So you need that boss hand, that left hand's gonna hang out at the top of the mountain till it reaches the bat. Having never done this before, in the beginning, I'm gonna have you grab your thumb. Okay. Same with you, but it might change because you have bigger, stronger hands. Guys can do it differently, but we're gonna start here. I have you grab your thumb so the hands work as a team. Yeah, and we're gonna use this mini part on top. So, water, we support the mountain, grab our thumb, and we push down from the top, pushing down to a little gumdrop mountain. We don't wanna go too flat because if it's still wobbly, you're gonna lose a lot of clay trying to bring it back up. Okay? So that's centered. You're gonna probably do it 5-6 times. The up and this is just your 6 years of being on a wheel, right? But you're gonna do it, quite a few times. If we get down to this little gumdrop and it's still wobbly, we're gonna bring it back up. Okay, so we bring it back up. And when we bring it up, we also wanna be kind of smooth about it. We don't wanna come up so quick, because it actually makes it worse. That's exaggerated. But when we come up making that mountain, we wanna come up. And then also when we come off the mountain, we wanna be smooth. You're gonna hear hands like a butterfly a lot. Okay, super important. Have it written all around. There's 2 things that I could give you that'll help you as a potter is hands like a butterfly, and the other is going to be support a single hand, anything you're doing, because this will grab you. But it looks pretty smooth right now, right? Yeah, it's a smooth mountain. But if I come up and I come off quick, it actually puts wobble in it. Or people like how it feels in it, they do what I call no swipey swipies. They like to swipe. And when you swipe, you're just putting wobble in it. So all that hard work that you're doing is lost. So nice smooth mountain, off like a butterfly. Before I showed you that when we push down just with the top and don't support the side, it will wobble. But even if we push a hair too, or we push really fast, it'll get worse. So that's that finesse. That was over exaggerated. If I'm pushing just a hair too fast, the clay is gonna tell you. If I'm pushing just a hair too fast, it's gonna start to mushroom. See the mushroom? Yeah, so we don't want mushrooms, they're not bad. But that's the clay saying, hey, slow down. So that's the learning to dance with it. Okay, we'll go ahead and get it centered, support side, push from the top, push the clay to center. Now when you get it centered, that wrist stops moving. That wrist stops moving, there's a stillness, not in the wheel, because that's a full to medium speed. But there's a stillness in the clay, definitely come off very gentle. And anytime now, once it's centered, when you touch it, very gentle. Otherwise you're gonna put wobble on it. That being said, when wobble happens, don't panic. It doesn't mean you lost the pot. You can usually get the wobble out. Okay. All right, so we code up and down, up and down, up and down until it gets as centered as possible. You could have, right now it has a little wobble to it. It could have even a little more, and you can still make the pot. 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna be completely centered because we're not robots, right? Not made by a machine. All right, so for the openings, ideally elbows down. Some people want to hover. When you hover, it's going to get off center.
Okay.
So elbows down, hands are just connected to the clay. They're not pushing against the clay, just connected. It can be a thumb on top of thumb, having the hands work as a team and make the thumb stronger pushing down. As you start to open that ball of clay, it's going to get tacky. Water, water, water. I prefer for a single thumb. Peace fingers make it stronger and works as a team opening up here. You're not going to go as fast as me either, okay? If it's centered to start and you start opening and it starts to wobble, most likely you're pushing too fast, or sometimes it's a dry spot.
Okay.
If it's a dry spot, you actually can tell it's a dry spot, don't panic. Usually you'll find water. All right, so when we do this first opening, we're shooting from a 1/2 inch from the back up so that we don't have a hole in our pot. If you end up with a hole, you can grab yourself a plant, Home Depot,
Yeah.
okay? All right, but it's a workshop, so I'm just gonna eyeball it. When you think you're about a 1/2 inch from there, I'll say perfect, or a little more, or this, that, and the other. Now the second opening, I like just a single hand here, single thumb. It's the most consistent way I've found for beginners. We don't ride up the pot to the second opening, but rather the thumb sits flat, and it's only gonna go to the mound here. You can see the mound grow, but I'm gonna just piece fingers on that thumb to make it stronger. I pull flat here towards myself like a magic trick. All right, so now after that second opening, here's where if our bottom is a little bit on the thick side, or we have a little divot, or we have a little mountain or something like that, we can flatten it. We can OCD on the pot, flattening it, but also we're gonna compress it. Pottery likes to crack, these little cracks happen, and this helps prevent those. Flat surfaces love to crack. So the way we're gonna do that is we're gonna take the sponge. You can use a finger, but you're probably gonna snag, so I like to take a sponge. You're just gonna tuck your finger in there nice and tight, not loose, and support that single hand. You push down and push out. See how I'm grabbing that clay? That helps OCD on the bottom if you need it flat. I'm gonna learn your personality real quick, who's OCD and who's not. But that helps compress it. Perfect. All right, so the coating up and down, getting it centered can be a full to medium speed. You don't wanna go too slow. The openings can be full to medium. All the speeds are there, in case you forget. Now, last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make the pot. We're gonna lift the pot.
Okay.
That we want to be a medium speed. And then the taller and thinner it gets, maybe a hair slower.
Okay.
And if there's ever any wobble, we go actually a little bit slower than what we should.
Okay.
With both the speed of the wheel and how we move the clay. Having never done it, I'm gonna ask left hand, right hand, doesn't matter which, pinchy fingers between 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And I want you to just naturally, how are you gonna grab the clay?
Okay.
And we'll go from there. All right, the water, 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 sliding and gliding. So when we go to lift the pot, we can't just push side and push side, because all that happens is it just goes in. It doesn't go up. So we actually need to have a hand on the inside and a hand on the outside, pinching and feeding this clay up. Water, this works great as a team, makes my thumb stronger. I come in, I grab that clay, and I start to slowly feed it up into itself. And I'm using my fingertips because it's better, because the idea is you're feeling where is the clay thick and where is the clay thin. That's why once you can feel it, you can do this blindfolded. Because this is way more about feel than staring at it. All right, good. So we'll go ahead and slow it down just a hair. After a lift, and you're gonna do a few lifts, I'm gonna get this done in 2, but you might do 3 or 4, figuring it out, unless you go for it. But when we do that lift together, I'm gonna talk you through how slow you need to go and how much to squeeze, so we don't rip off the top and stuff. After a lift, I might have you come in, and I'm gonna say, don't pinch, but I want you to just feel it with your fingertips. Is there clay down here? Is it thicker? Is it thin in the middle? Because we usually lift from the bottom up. We will break that rule if it's too thin down here and too thick up here. But so if it was super thin in the middle, I would grab some clay here as I got in the middle, a little less pinch, and even it out. All right, but I can see there's a little bit at the bottom there, and or you make a pot like this, you're like, it's perfect, I don't even want to look at it wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be bigger. Stop while you're ahead. But I can come in here, I can grab all that clay. I'm gonna get that much bigger. Cool. Very good, so that's a good 1/4 inch. Everything's gonna be dishwasher safe, microwave safe. And you see there's some wobble in it. Once the wheel stops, you're not even gonna see it.
Okay.
But dishwasher safe, microwave safe. So I like a good 1/4 inch because they're gonna be stronger in the sink. They're getting banged around. Once you're done with your pot, you're happy. This is where you're gonna soak up all the water. That's what I'm doing right now, is I'm just soaking up the water. We don't stop the wheel and soak it up like this. You're just hurting the pot. These are all things I've seen. Basically, you don't touch it. Once the clay's on there, you don't touch it, you don't stop the wheel, and you don't touch it unless it's spinning.
Okay.
okay? But we soak up the water, that's just resting the sponge and squeezing it out, resting the sponge. We wanna get all the water out, and maybe even on the edges here, just resting the sponge, but definitely out of the bottom, otherwise it's gonna sit and break down the clay, okay? Now, the last step that we have to do in the beginning, if you're scared, I'll do it for you. By your third, you're gonna have to figure it out and get over the fear. Yes. Unless it's thin, then I'll help out. But just because the back comes off the wheel, we do need to run a wire underneath here. We need to do a pre-trim or a pre-cut. If it dries on there, sometimes we break the pots and the wires. Whether this comes from here or here, I warn people, and this still happens every workshop, this comes up and then boom, hits their pot. Don't do that. Okay. We can usually fix that, but don't do it. Yes. The other thing, and we'll go over this again, but you're gonna hold a handle in one hand, you're gonna wrap the wire so that it's nice and tight like you're flossing, and you want your thumbs on that wire as well. And you want your thumbs on this back. You don't want them out here. We want a nice clean cut. We're gonna go to the back side, pull towards ourselves because it's easier. The other thing that happens is they'll come in and they'll chop off the top of their pot. Kind of devastating, right? But it then becomes a beautiful, spoon rest for the stove. Yeah. Air plant, coins. Whatever. All right. So anyways, we're gonna go to the back here, nice and tight, not so close you hit the pot, but outer edge. You think it's just gonna pulls through like butter on the counter. It doesn't, it resists you. So you just commit, you just stay flat and pull directly towards yourself. You're good to go. Okay.